What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of the BIOS update. This episode we have Alex, AK, Halfbaked, and myself, ProSpartans. So, guys, who here has pre-ordered GTA 5?
Me.
I have.
I got it. I got it pre-ordered today.
I have it preloaded already.
Who else is excited for it? I'm excited for it. I played it on Xbox 360, you know. It was a good game. I'm just jacked for this port. Hopefully, it's not going to be as bad as Grand Theft Auto 4's.
That was terrible on PC. I've had that downloaded on my old PC, not my new one, but the frame rate never went above like 50 in the city. It was like almost impossible. And I had a decent system too back then. It was absolutely terrible, the quality of the port back then.
The only saving grace, that is, of the PC port for that game was really the mods. I mean, the mods were really it. I mean, the mods, even to this day, they're still being made. The community has really made that game what it is on PC. You know, I mean, Xbox and PlayStation users wouldn't have had those problems, obviously, but for PC, I mean, it was just unbearable. I mean, the mod community kind of stepped in and kind of helped make those updates that Rockstar kind of lacked. But, I mean, the game itself, I mean, it had some good qualities about it, don't get me wrong. I mean, as far as game mechanics for the PC that maybe Xbox and PlayStation didn't have, it had, let me think about a theater mode. Theater mode was a great use of the PC port, in my opinion. Theater mode was really one of the best things about the PC port, honestly, besides the mods. It was that. I mean, the game was great and all. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I heavily modded GTA 4 a lot. I would download a lot of the texture packs and the HD graphics, and I was throwing all kinds of vehicles and things like that into my game. And I don't know, I'm a big modder, so I may not be able to vouch very well for console players. I did play San Andreas on the PlayStation 2 and stuff like that, older Grand Theft Auto games, and I switched over to PC because I liked the fact that I could mod and add more content to an existing game that I enjoyed. And that's where I think the benefit of the PC port is so that you can, you know, you can actually add a lot more into it than you are. But then again, like I said, I'm a little bit of an elitist when it comes to modding, because I'll look at a game and say, well, can it be modded? It can? Cool. Well, then I get lots of free additions that make the game more fun and more playable for a longer period of time instead of just the same thing, you know?
I mean, you can't be a draft driving around a Shelby GT500 Mustang in GTA. I mean, other games apart from GTA, because that's one of the mods I did. I literally made my character a draft, and I drove around like real cars.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you think the mods are gonna help the PC port of GTA 5? You think it's gonna hurt it?
Oh, it's gonna totally help it. Everyone loves mods. So? Everyone loves mods.
It just makes it more interesting. AK, what do you think, bud?
When it comes to modding in general, it can't do anything but help, considering the fact that it's free content and it's your choice to add onto the game anyway. So even if you don't get any of the mods, it doesn't change your experience at all. It's just up to the community themselves to show what they want out of the mods that they get out of a game.
You know, this is where I think Rockstar might have a problem with it, though. Rockstar has never really supported modding for their games. I mean, they don't really look down on it, but they never really had a stance on it. My only question is now that we're coming to this age of where modding on PC is a little bit more common for games, will Rockstar really be trying to push against it, only because they're not going to be making as much money as they would maybe on the DLCs that they push out later? I mean, if you're modding, then you're getting these exact things, you know, for free. Why would you ever buy a $20 DLC, let's say, to give you a little bit of story whenever you could just download somebody else's made story for free? And you have
to rely on the people to make a good story if you're going with that logic. Because not everyone has the ability to make a Rockstar quality story in a game like GTA, you know what I mean? Like, it's difficult. It's been done, don't get me wrong. It's been done for more than just GTA. Like that guy in Skyrim, he made a whole like extra area of the map along with story. It was insane, but that relies on the people to do it, not the company themselves. And I think we can trust the company to make a decent story, especially with the track record Rockstar has.
And not to mention the fact that they can crank out, you know, a decent expansion or DLC content faster than what a lot of the modding community can do, because they have a team doing that.
Yeah, they have the resources and they can put in the time to do it, and it really just helps out the entire experience. But like I said, I'm a big modder when it comes to the game, and what kind of scares me is that it sounds like Rockstar's might possibly be putting some sort of limitation on the modding community by saying that they're going to crack down on anything that could damage the experience of GTA 5. However, the game will still be moddable. It just seems like they're going to monitor things a little more, and I wonder if that's going to possibly damage the people like experience like myself, where you know, there's not going to be as many mods available possibly because they're going to try to limit what can be put into their game. I don't know, that's something that kind of makes me nervous a little bit, but I'm still going to ride along with it and see how it goes, because how could they possibly stop people from creating content and adding it in? Are they going to go through and actually filter and pull things out as we go? I doubt it.
Oh, they won't do that. They're not going to do a thing about people modding it. Like, they'll let it happen, but I don't think they're going to really gimp the community as a whole, like the game, to prevent people from doing things. I think that would only hurt them, and I think they understand that.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. You think maybe they're going to try to sugarcoat the PC version a little bit more, maybe give us some more heists, or give us extra things than the online side of things, instead of, you know, giving, I mean, if you think about it, Xbox and PlayStation, that's probably where the most money they're going to make, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're going to give them probably the better stuff, but to try to, you know, still try to sell copies on GTA PC, do you think they're trying to give back a little bit more to the PC instead of the consoles?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, because the console gamers, they're on a platform that they can't modify. They can't mod game files and create their own experience. So I feel that because the PC gamers, such as ourselves, you know, on Grand Theft Auto 5, we're going to actually have the advantage because we can add our own content where they're limited. So I think that they would level that playing field and continue that, you know, by giving them a little extra here and there, because we already have it and we could get it whenever we want.
I mean, the only reason I bring this up is because it is confirmed that GTA 5 PC will have, I don't quote me on it, but I do believe like 10 more radio stations than PC and PlayStation, or not PC, Xbox and PlayStation will, or even the consoles in general. So that's the only reason I bring it up, is that they are giving us something more, but do you think it will continue? Do you think there'll be a trend there?
Well, I don't think it's because that they want to, you know, pacify the fact that we've had our version of the game delayed by about a year. I think it's just because they can work with more when it comes to PC in general, where they didn't really respect the fact that of what you could do with the PC until probably they saw all the mods that were going on in GTA 4, and they said, holy hell, they can make all these awesome things, and they're not even part of the Rockstar team, so why can't we just try to milk out what the PC can do a little bit more?
I feel that way too. Because the mods in GTA 4, like I said earlier, were absurd. They were awesome. Like some of the things you can do in that game, you know.
Oh, you could be Iron Man.
Outrageous.
You could be the entire Avengers if you wanted to, for the as far as modding goes. It was just phenomenal.
I saw a video on Reddit today. It was like a throwback Thursday to GTA 4. Someone was driving around. They made a car into a piano, and it was they made the song playing "Making My Way Downtown." And it was
that's great.
That.
So, you know, see stuff like
awesome.
that I feel like is going to drive more sales on the PC, just because of the whole modding community. I can't wait to see what the modding community can actually do for this game. If Rockstar does down the line give some developer tools to kind of help along that process, I think that would just be phenomenal, honestly.
Well, and which community do you think is going to be larger? You know, I mean, in terms of like multiplayer heists and things like that, do you think PC would be bigger than console community, or do you think it's going to be about the same?
No, console community will always be bigger. It's more of a name brand, and it's easier access to get into. You know, if you want to get into PC game and you got to drop, you know, $1,100, $1,200 just for what seems now for an average.
Not quite
no,
that
you don't.
much, but you gotta...
$600 for a PC that can run 1080p 60 on GTA 5.
On
$600
medium,
about.
probably medium settings.
Medium to low. That's regardless. 1080-60 is the goal. Graphic quality is not the goal.
Something playable for $600. Yeah, I
That's
can agree with that.
That's easily achievable because all you need minimum specs is a 660. I think for minimum is what they said, or was that recommended? I don't remember.
So you're still technically shelling out a few $100 more for a playable GTA on PC than you would a playable GTA on console. Sure, it may look a little bit better, but it's still like $300 down the drain.
But you got to look at it from not just that, but most people don't know how to, build a PC, what's good, what's bad. They don't want to have to worry about in a year or two that the $600 I just spent, I got to go spend another $400, $500 for the next good big thing because it's outdated now. What I have is outdated, and I just feel like people don't want to have to deal with that. So they just get this one console that will last them, 4 or 5 years, however long the generation is, and that is what they want to have just because it's easier for them, It's going to cost them less in the long run, where they could just go and buy the $60 games and not have to worry about buying the $500 graphics card.
Well, let me
test that.
Let me just go ahead and here's your minimum requirements. I won't go over all of them, but this is the minimum requirements. They recommend a Core 2 Quad Q6600 at 2.4 gigahertz for Intel CPUs. For AMD CPUs, they recommend a Phenom 9850 Quad Core Black Edition. For NVIDIA GPUs, they say the minimum is a GeForce 9800 GT. That's a pretty old card. For AMD GPUs, they recommend the Radeon HD 4870. 4 gigabytes of RAM, Windows 7 64-bit DirectX 10, and 65 gigabytes of hard drive space. Those are pretty basic specifications. That that's outdated stuff. I feel like if you have a rig that you've been playing games, somewhat graphical demanding games in the last 3 years, I think you'll be pretty much covered. You won't have to go out and spend a shit ton of money. You may have to go out and buy a new graphics card, but you don't have to go out and buy a GTX 980 or an AMD R crazy fucking Radeon card. I think you would be able to handle it. It's just the question is how well will your experience be. But those are your minimum requirements. So technically it is possible. I'm not saying that it would be any good though.
I mean, we're not talking about like Counterstrike here, which basically a potato can run, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously have to have a PC that can, run Source Engine, but you know what I mean.
A PC that can run Source Engine is pretty low tier.
Yeah.
Speaking of Counterstrike, Rainbow Six Siege.
Same, bro. Oh yeah.
Copy of it.
Not yet.
I want this game to succeed, but based on what I've seen on Reddit, the alpha is actually not that promising.
But it's an
alpha.
It is an alpha. That is true. It is an alpha. I have seen a lot of gameplay on it. I've read up on all the stats of everything everybody's been doing with it so far. But I don't know. It's just not grabbing hold of me like the way I thought it would be. We saw the demo of it for the alpha last year at E3, and it looked really promising. I mean, the trailer's a little corny. It seemed like they're trying a little too hard to make it into something that it really wasn't. It doesn't seem like a game that... It does seem focused on teamwork, which I do like, but I think they're trying to make it too much like Counter-Strike in the sense of it's, 5v5, CTs versus Ts, and it's a hostage situation. I feel like they took too many liberties from that. I do like it that it is destructible, which I think that maybe they took too many liberties also from Battlefield in that sense, especially Hardline now. There's a lot of cool things. The guns are really cool. Customization, that's a cool thing that you can have. One of the coolest things I thought was in the game was the breaching charges. That's really cool. And before every round, the CTs, I guess you could call them, the cops, whatever it is, whatever you may be, you get these little RC kind of things that you get to basically see the inside of the house, the plane, the building, wherever you're trying to assault and rescue the hostage. You get to see all the pre-planning that the T's get to do. that's really cool. I'm not like, you know, I really want this game to succeed just because they put a lot of time and effort. You can see they put some really good polish on it. This is a Rainbow Six game we haven't seen before, and innovation is really, there's some really good innovation going on.
It's just a question of whether they can execute.
I just don't think they can execute properly. I just feel like what they're doing is they're trying to be something that they're not. They're trying to focus on maybe they're seeing Counterstrike blow up on things like Twitch and just in the esports community as a whole. I feel like they're trying to make maybe a presence in it just a little bit. I could definitely see elements of maybe where a lot of teamwork could kind of fall into the esport category. Maybe, you know, you put up a bullet shield or bulletproof wall inside of the hostage room, you know, so you can't get shot through the wall and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of teamwork that go into that and a lot of planning out of where you want to kind of set up shop. I just feel like they're trying to be something that's already been done, and they're not trying to innovate on top of that.
Well, you have to kind of look at it from the perspective of where the shooter series, all the games in the series, in the shooter genre, you know, where are we at? I mean, you look at Call of Duty, you look at Battlefield, you look at Counter-Strike, and they're all starting to use the same type of elements, the same type of mechanics, and it's not necessarily becoming the same thing over and over again, but they were moving forward and innovating over the last 5 years or 6 years with shooters, and we're reaching a point now where the market is semi-saturated and they're all competing against each other and utilizing the same thing. I remember hearing just not too long ago where Call of Duty was considered, you know, completely different from Battlefield, and now there's kind of a middle ground where people are starting to say, oh well, Battlefield may not be as simulator as it was, you know, in Battlefield 3, where it was more of a realistic shooter compared to Call of Duty, and now it's kind of evening out where the competition is kind of making all of these different games on this type of genre almost start to kind of blend together a little bit, and that's where I think the Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six thing kind of mixes it up there.
I feel like there's just expectations that companies have to have. There just is expectations. There has to be customization in the weapons, obviously, like Battlefield or Call of Duty. But I feel like if it's not something that's relatable to something like Call of Duty, I feel like they feel like it's not gonna work. I feel like it's not gonna sell, you know, blah blah blah, whatever their reasonings may be. They are just trying to focus too much on being something that I wish that they would try to stray away from. You know, a lot of these games are dying. You know, games like Halo, they're going on their, I think, like 10th game, 11th game, something like that, you know. I feel like they need to just quit trying to be those kind of games and try to think outside the box.
Mortal Kombat's on their, like, a whatever game they're on now, right? Like, they've been making games for a while.
Yeah, they're on their 10th game. Mortal Kombat is one of those games where it's just, after a while, you kind of gotta just take a step back and peel back the paint and just kind of see what Mortal Kombat really is. And I feel like they know what Mortal Kombat is, and what Mortal Kombat does, they do best. I feel like, you know, I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat. I never was a fan of Street Fighter. Street Fighter kind of goes into that fighter category of, you know, really good fighting style game. There is some strategy into, you know, if you want to win, not just button mashing, but I'm sure a lot of us are just button mashers.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
I
totally.
was. I know I was.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I feel like what Mortal Kombat 10 is doing is it's just they're putting polish on it, new graphics, they're putting in a bunch of fatalities. The fatalities look great. I don't know if you guys seen any videos on it. They are just gruesome, which I love about Mortal Kombat. It's one of those games that are just daring to just keep, like, you know, one-upping itself in the sense of just being just hardcore graphic, and I feel like a lot of games like that a lot of games today aren't doing that. Gears of War used to be like that, but, you know, even that game is kind of getting old and kind of toning the graphics down just a tad bit on the blood and gore. But as far as Mortal Kombat 10 goes, or even fighting games in general, are people really getting tired of fighting games? I mean, I'm still excited for Mortal Kombat, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of it, but I feel like other people aren't excited about the game as they once were. What about you guys?
I've never really been excited for fighting games, but when I play fighting games, I definitely have loads of fun every time I play them. I mean, what's not to like about fatalities? Is absolutely destroying someone in the most gruesome and bloody and gory way possible. I mean, I'm a guy. We're all guys. We can appreciate that, right? I mean,
oh yeah, 100%.
But that's the way I feel. I mean, I'm obviously a first-person shooter guy. I love me my hardline, but I mean, I could love some Mortal Kombat on the side, you know?
It's kind of like your side, bitch. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, but you have to think of it this way too. When is too much? When you have a franchise that's being pushed and pushed and pushed, and they're on their 10th sequel. I mean, how much is too much? I mean, same thing goes for movies too.
I mean, they are definitely milking it, I feel like, at this point. I feel like they're just trying to just keep doing what, I mean, going back to Rainbow Six, you know, they're just trying to do what sells. Mortal Kombat does sell. I'm sure it's not as well as, you know, Mortal Kombat 5 did, you know, I'm sure it's not doing that great. But, I mean, I feel like they're just trying to milk it a little too much for their own good. But I'm sure they'll feel it sometime. I'm sure that it'll catch up, and Mortal Kombat 20 won't do as good, and they'll be like, alright, we're gonna cut it back now, you know, we're not gonna quit making it.
You think they'll make it to 20?
Oh, I don't know, man, you know, what's Call of Duty on? Their fucking 4th one, the 5th one?
Call of Duty
Black Ops
talking about milking it, man, you know, whatever they're on.
Well,
Speaking
they
of
are
Call
gonna
of Duty,
be...
that trailer, though. I don't think
That trailer for Black Ops 3, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty. Well, I'm not a big fan of Infinity Ward Call of Duty. But Treyarch Call of Duties, I was really, you know, I just didn't want to. I was trying to deny it. I was like, no, they wanted to do a Black Ops 3. Today, they hit the internet with a Black Ops 3 trailer. I was kind of hoping that they would go back to a World War II type-esque era, you know, but what are you going to do? I understand why they don't want to go back there. They're trying to look at the future of gaming, and just the future in general. I mean, Advanced Warfare tried to do that with the laser guns and whatever that gun is that blasts people back with sound. That was just, you know, that was just stupid. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
I feel like exosuits, though, might have been exosuits were way too far, and the exosuit zombies was even farther down the rabbit hole that I feel like they knew they shouldn't have gone down, but they just had to do something new. They just had to do something new. But I'm an old school Call of Duty guy. I feel like what they're doing new with the series isn't good. I feel like what they should do is they need to go back to the basics. They need to go back and look at like games like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, even farther back if you want to, at like World at War, Call of Duty 4. It's really good games, really good guns. The gunplay, it felt good to kill people with. The gunplay was really nice.
Netcode wasn't too bad. Their
the
host
netcode
migration,
wasn't too bad.
the host advantage was bad.
The host migration got better back, and I'd like to say
Jesus.
Black Ops 2 host migration was a little bit better. Obviously, there were still some problems with it. They did get better over time. I feel like the iteration of it now is a little bit better. But as far as anything goes, the multiplayer goes. The multiplayer, they really need to take a step back for this one. And I'm sure Treyarch does, you know. Black Ops 2 didn't do that well. It was a good game, I must say, in that. But I feel like they kind of learned their lesson with trying to be too much like maybe Infinity Ward's Call of Duty with the really high kill streaks. What Treyarch's Call of Duty multiplayer does best, it does best. It does the kill streaks the best. It doesn't get too silly with the guns, you know, like Advanced Warfare with the laser gun and whatnot. The kill streaks are always pretty leveled down in reality, you know, dogs. They had, I forget what that one gunship thing they had. It was kind of like the AC-130, but it was like a stealth bomber. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Lone Star?
The Lone Star, yeah, whatever it is. That was pretty based in reality. Advanced Warfare and a game like Ghost, I feel like it's not based in reality as far as like a 25 kill streak for like a nuke or a DNA bomb. You know, like it just
They
it
had
doesn't
that,
make too much sense.
They had that like
Just doesn't.
pirate, ghost pirate thing on that one DLC. Like, what the hell is that? Like,
Yeah, what? Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
I feel like they're trying to get too new, and what they need to do is go back. A lot of people that played Call of Duty back in the day would buy it in a heartbeat. If they said we're taking it back, Black Ops 1 days, Modern Warfare 2 days.
Like AK.
Like
AK
that,
was talking about Modern Warfare 2 earlier. That's your favorite game, right?
Yeah, but the problem, like, I have that Call of Duty syndrome that with every other Call of Duty player has, is that their first Call of Duty is personally their favorite. And I played Call of Duty 4, I played Black Ops 1 and 2, and I played Modern Warfare 3. I have not played Advanced Warfare. My little brother's played it. I just got tired of the franchise by that point. But to me, Modern Warfare 2 had a great mix of really satisfying gunplay, really widespread, I guess, perk system. Although there, like it had its annoyances, like one-man army, noob tube classes. Everybody hated those.
Yeah. Oh, I hated those. They're terrible.
Yeah, the last stand death streak that was put in the game. Everybody hates Final Stand, Dead Man's Hand, or any iteration of that.
Martyrdom.
Martyrdom. Any iteration of the mechanics that basically like free kills on your death, which pretty much has always been in a Call of Duty, except for Black Ops 2 and Advanced Warfare. But yeah, for me, Modern Warfare 2 felt really, really good in how its gunplay worked and its kill streaks. The kill streaks was what made the game, because yeah, you can go around and just like mow down people, or you want to do an only use me blade and just knife everybody around the map. But when you got that Harrier, like Predator missile into a Harrier into a chopper gunner, and you just sat back and you just watched the kill feed just explode with your name, it was some of the most satisfying moments you could have as a gamer at that time.
Adrenaline rush, dude.
Exactly.
Can we all agree that Modern Warfare 3 is the worst Call of Duty ever made?
Yeah, it's honestly the worst.
It's terrible.
I would not take that game for free. I honestly would not take that game.
He's not lying, because I pre-ordered Modern Warfare 3 from GameStop before it came out. I waited for it, went to the release party, picked it up, never installed it. Today I asked him if he wanted it, and he said, "Oh, fuck that game."
I will not take that game for free. That game is the worst iteration in the fucking series. It is the worst and will continue to be the worst. Ghost was bad. People said Ghost was the worst. Go back and play Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. Go play the single player. Go play the Spec Ops mode. Play any part of it. You will understand that that is the worst. What Ghost did was, yes, it was a little too goofy for its own good, but Modern Warfare 3, it was just garbage. It was garbage. One of the kill streaks was a Juggernaut suit. A Juggernaut suit is terrible. It's not terrible, but it is terrible in a game where you shoot him, 2 or 3 times in the head and he dies from a sniper. Like, that's pretty terrible. That's not a kill streak anybody wants to use, and I think that's the problem was, even for Advanced Warfare even. It was kill streaks nobody wanted to use. They were shitty, or they were completely underpowered. It was just ridiculous, and I feel like if Black Ops 3 does that, I feel like multiplayer will be dead, because Call of Duty fans everywhere will just simply say they do want gunplay. That's a very essential part of a first-person shooter, obviously. But kill streaks, it's so rewarding to get a kill streak in like Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, chopper gunner inbound, AC-130 inbound,
inbound,
dogs inbound, nuke. And then hearing the like that is just, you got jacked. As soon as you hit that nuke and you heard that you were just like jacked. You're like, hell yeah, I got a fucking nuke. I ended this game. You just get jacked for it. You don't get jacked for kill streaks the way you used to. And if Black Ops 3 doesn't do kill streaks right, I feel like people are going to finally look at Call of Duty in the light that a lot of people already do look at Call of Duty, and it's getting old, getting stale, they're running out of ideas. and at some point they're gonna take a look and be like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't make this anymore. I mean, maybe I say that, but they did just hire Sledgehammer to start making games too, to be part of the rotation. I think next year is Infinity Ward, but as far as this year goes, I really hope Black Ops 3 does it right. Black Ops 3, or Treyarch in general, is doing it right now, because they're pumping everybody up for it. They just released the trailer today. Previously to this, on Snapchat, they had been posting things like, you know, they've been posting other trailers, like the, what do you call it, the slideshow. You guys seen the slideshow trailer?
I saw the slideshow.
Yeah,
the slideshow. That was really nice, because nobody really knew what it meant, but you didn't really know what it meant, but you kind of did, because the only way you could do it is if you took a picture of it and it sent you to a Snapchat Call of Duty account you could add. But how you did it was in Black Ops 2 on certain multiplayer maps on pictures. There was an actual picture of some, I don't really know what the code would be called, but there's a code there. Yeah, and you
like the square barcode thingy.
Nah, it was some other kind of stuff, a bunch of like circles and bars and whatnot. But you take a picture of it and add that to that, so you kind of knew just by Black Ops. I mean, you didn't really know what meant Black Ops 3, but I guess you kind of knew in your heart of hearts. But that being said, I think they're gonna do it right, because they're actually taking time to even advertise. Think about it in the past, Advanced Warfare. They didn't really take the time to like pump everybody up for it. They kind of just had a trailer, and then they kind of just dumped it on everybody. They just kind of just dumped it, and they're like, oh, hey, look, it's this thing. There was no real, like, lead up to it. But, I mean, going to the actual details of the game, people have already hacked the source code on the website. Developers need to learn to not put their fucking code in the website. It can be found. Agree. It can be found. Just because it's not on the front page, don't mean it's not there. And I think they'll learn that after this, but the source code reveals that the game will be not featured on last gen. Now that, I think, will be shocking to some people, but I think that, I mean, what are we out, like 2 years now? 3 years?
It's long needed.
Yeah.
2 years out from, like, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, I think that we're far enough out now that we can finally we can give those a goodbye and say hello to the future of what is
retire.
current gen. We can retire. Yeah, it is. And I think they need to focus on current gen. The only reason I think they need to focus on current gen is because if they don't, the game is not going to look as good as what it could do, or could be, I mean, and the mechanics are going to be kind of flawed and whatnot. You know, they're going to focus on, they're going to have two teams, one focusing on the last gen and one being on this gen, where they could just combine efforts and focus on one gen of it, including the PC, obviously.
Well, and that goes to, you know, like, what about the whole thing where a game is created and and it's created for a console and then transposed into, you know, a PC game? I mean, I'm kind of worried about that there's it's shown that there's always lots of issues when it comes to that. So, and I know that translates back to console from different generations. So it definitely needs to be phased out, just for the sake for better gameplay and stability. And then you can use all of your resources that you were putting on older consoles and let them focus on doing bigger and better things for the new generation or the current generation.
Well, I mean, another thing which worries me about the game, I think we're all pretty worried about Call of Duty at this point, right?
I totally am. I want it to succeed.
Another thing I'm worried about, nobody liked exosuits in Advanced Warfare. Nobody does. I mean, people say, like, oh, it was cool for a time, until they finally was like, you know what, these are actually pretty lame. Bad News Bears coming inbound. Exosuit's gonna be in Black Ops 3. Box art shows the exosuit, a guy in exosuit armor, you know, the typical sitting down, two guns next to his knees, like every other Call of Duty, with the bars in the back. That is not good. If you ask me, it's not good, because that means that they're not trying to get away from something that people didn't like. They're just trying to just sell at this point, which I'm hoping that exosuits won't be like what they were in Advanced Warfare. I'm hoping like maybe it'll be like a kill streak. If an exosuit is a kill streak,
that's perfect.
Like say 6 kills for that. Honestly, I'd do it. I'd have an advantage on the enemy team. I could run a little faster. I could jump a little bit higher. I could boost away. I mean, it'd be annoying, but you could still get killed. You know, 2 people looking at you. You might be able to get one of them, but the other one's probably going to mow you down, you know, jumping around like a fool in the air. That'd be fine. I'm just hoping it's not essential, which makes me really wonder if Treyarch has been working on this game long before even Advanced Warfare, and you know, Sledgehammer came to them and was like, "Hey, this is actually a really cool idea. Can we do it?" And you know, take that away from you and put it in our game. And it makes me wonder if they said, "Okay, yeah, you can do that, Sledgehammer. Go ahead and do it. You know, we'll give you some of the assets." But Treyarch had another year to work on their game, so I wonder if maybe that their version of the exosuit is going to be a little bit more robust and not as maybe cheap or lame as what Sledgehammer did, because they've had an extra year to work on it. Look at what Sledgehammer did, and they said, you know what? That was really wrong. They did that wrong. Let's make ours better. Let's take all the Call of Duty, you know, criticism from hardcore fans and put it into this game. Let's do that. Let's finally do that. And I'm hoping that they do that. I'm hoping they do exosuits right, because exosuits, it can be a good thing to have. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a really good thing to have. What do you guys think?
I hope the campaign's good in this game. That's one of the things that I like in Call of Duty is the campaigns. Well, usually they're decent.
I did not care about Black Ops 2 campaign in the slightest. And the reason why I didn't really care about the Black Ops 2 campaign is because by that point, when Black Ops 2 was made, I was so tired of the Call of Duty franchise and how it felt really samey that it was almost a put out for me to even try to invest myself in a campaign, especially when it seemed kind of half-baked to just introduce the son of the main character of Black Ops 1, Alex Mason, if I remember his name. It didn't feel... I didn't feel like I wanted to be invested in the story, because Black Ops 1 had a masterful story and had a masterful way of telling that story. Black Ops 2 didn't feel that way at all to me. It was just kind of like, oh, all these unknown characters from that time period in Black Ops 1 where you didn't really get to see yet, well, yeah, they're kind of a thing now. But that's just my opinion on it.
I like the Black Ops 2 campaign. I'm going to go against the grain here. I thought it was pretty decent. I thought the way it was told was okay. Obviously, you don't feel the same way, but it was above average in terms of Call of Duty goes, but it definitely not the best. Don't get me wrong. It was okay at best. Halfbaked, do you feel the same way or what?
Well, I mostly played in Call of Duty. I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2. I played Black Ops, and I played a little bit of Black Ops 2. So, and I mean, in Black Ops, the only thing that really drove me in was fucking zombies. I mean, I love zombies. It's just the, you know, and in Modern Warfare 2, that was my first Call of Duty on PC, and I don't know, I don't really know where to go with it. It just, I really like zombie gameplay, and that's because I guess I like to geek out and fucking see how far I can go and just have a good time blowing shit up. You know, it's a change of pace.
Don't forget about the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Zombies Easter eggs. Do you guys ever do those at all? You guys try and go for the Easter eggs in zombies mode? Any of you?
No, not me. What do you mean?
There's Easter eggs hidden in all the zombies, and it involves a backstory, if I recall. Maybe. I could be wrong. I haven't played zombies in so long, but I know that zombies and the Easter eggs were really popular amongst fans of the series.
Well, and I mean, I still don't really fully understand. I mean, I never installed Modern Warfare 3. Like I said earlier, I bought it, and it's still sealed in the package. In fact, you know, link down below if you want to hit me up and get it for free. But ProSpartans, I think, told me nobody will fucking want that game. But so I'm just kidding about the link. But anyway, it's just why is Modern Warfare 3 so hated? Anybody?
Well, to me, Modern Warfare 3 was basically Modern Warfare 2, but they tried to modify it to where everybody they thought would like it, but it just felt like a stripped down version of that game, in all honesty.
I totally agree. I didn't like Modern Warfare 3. I didn't buy the game. I played it at my friend's house on his 360. I just did not like the mechanics and the net code. I felt was off too. I think they took what was wrong with previous Call of Duties and just kept having it wrong, if that makes any sense, you know? Like, they didn't really fix things that should have been fixed in that game that deserved to be fixed.
Can we all agree that Nuke was your favorite map on Black Ops?
Oh yeah.
Oh, totally.
I like Nuke. I don't
Nuke.
remember if it was my favorite map, but I think I liked Firing Range more than I did like Nuke.
Nuke was an awesome map.
The bullshit about Nuke, though, on Black Ops 2, you guys remember what they did with the pre-orders? You pre-order Black Ops 2, you got Nuke 2025. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
And then they fucking, they gave it out for free, like, 2 months later. It's like, that's not how a pre-order works. We pre-ordered it for an exclusive thing. They said exclusive for pre-order, and they give it out for free. That was a shitty way of handling that map, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and I don't necessarily know if this is off topic or not, but I mean, what do you guys really think about, you know, DLC content and, like, for instance, Battlefield Premium, or is there a subsequent service in Call of Duty where you can pay a little extra? Yeah, so let's talk about that. What do you guys think about the fucking DLCs of pay as you play, not pay as you play, but pay DLCs instead of just getting an expansion, you know, stuff like that?
I mean, don't you save money in the end if you buy the season pass though, or is it the same amount? I can't remember if it's the same in Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Unless the season pass is like Evolve, you know, Evolve is a pretty
let's not talk
pretty
about
new
Evolve.
game. Evolve is a pretty new game. I'm gonna talk about it anyways. Evolve is a pretty new. Evolve is a pretty new game, and it came out this year. The DLC, I think, equates the entire DLC, all of it, equates to like $200, maybe more, and you don't get any of that for the season pass. You don't get any of it.
Okay, it's bullshit.
You don't get
100%.
Yeah, you can make a season pass. That's fine. Don't make people buy a season pass and then you do $200 more of shit you don't get for the season pass.
The game's not even worth it. Like,
that's
some people might
2.
disagree, but the game's not even worth all that money.
Borderlands 2 did it right though. They do have extra stuff that doesn't come with the season pass, but a lot of stuff, a lot of the core gameplay for Borderlands 2 was with that season pass.
No,
Gearbox,
but they kept adding on
did it
stuff
right.
after the fact. No, they
They
did
still
not
kept adding. They still kept adding on to it, but a core mass of the DLC was still for the season pass. It was still there. If you had that season pass, you still got the characters. You got the story expansions. You still got it. It was just all the extra shit you didn't get, like all the extra customization.
No, if I remember correctly, you did not get the Berserker character or the Necromancer character
really?
as season pass. No, if I remember correctly, they were, because when it came to Borderlands 2, there were actually multiple seasons to their DLC, and like the later on you went with the season pass, I think like the more stuff you got, but if you invested in the season pass early, you got screwed over. I'm pretty sure that at least the Berserker character was not included in the season pass for Borderlands 2 because it was the most recently added one.
Well,
I hope Call of Duty doesn't do that.
Well, and it's like with any of the other games too. Like you have the pay DLCs like Premium and for Battlefield, and I guess you guys said it was Season Pass for Call of Duty. There's perks and things that come along with it. I played a lot of Battlefield. I've played Battlefield since Bad Company 2, or Battlefield 1942, and there's things like that are there to try to obviously generate revenue for the company, because they're going to give us things that entice us. And I mean, in Battlefield, it was pretty enticing for us to think, okay, I could spend another $40 one time, and I'm going to get all these double XP events. Actually. Okay, yeah, that's true. To get double XP, to get to get special dog tags and weapons, and some people might think those things are trivial, but every little bit helps. But you also have to look back at the fact of expansions and games like that. You know, when Bad Company 2, they had they didn't have any premium, they didn't have any really DLC. I mean, the only DLC they had was Battlefield Vietnam, and a lot of us then thought that it was kind of shitty. They should have released Vietnam as a standalone game, and it would have been way better, instead of just tacking it onto Bad Company 2 as a DLC expansion. And you have all those things that, it kind of just, I don't know, it kind of sucks. They're trying to generate revenue, but at the same time, it really doesn't feel like it balances out to where you're paying for something, and is it really worth it? And sometimes it's really not, and that's what kind of sucks about it. And a lot of people just throw their money into it thinking they're going to get all these great things, and it really isn't that much different. It's just another way for the company to generate money. I'm not bashing it though, because I've purchased premium for every single game that it was available for in Battlefield, and at the same time, it's just like pre-ordering. When you pre-order a game, like I just pre-ordered GTA 5 so I could play it next week, and I pre-ordered it, and you're going to get, what is it, like $1.2 million in game?
No, it's 500,000 campaign, or is it? No, it might be $1 million campaign and $1 million online, I think is what they're doing, and along with some extra stuff. I don't quite remember, but
I mean, it goes along the same premise. When you pre-order, they're enticing you to spend a little extra or to do something early, so you can get extra things. In Battlefield Hardline and Battlefield 4, it was the digital deluxe edition.
The Ultimate edition too. Don't forget that.
That's true. And you'll get all these other things. And in Battlefield, they released the skip packs, where you could go through and get all the unlocks for certain classes or vehicles or things like that. The shortcut packs, battle packs, and crap like that.
That's a dangerous precedent, in my opinion. Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like if all these game companies have these like shortcuts and they have all these pay to win, I don't want to say pay to win per se, but I mean, you know what I mean though, right? Like paying to do things in the game quicker than other people. I feel like if companies do that, it's such a dangerous precedent for the future on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in terms of DLC and stuff like that. Like how much money can they rake in? I feel like that's the question they're asking at the shareholder meetings. Not verbatim, of course, but it's in the back of all their minds. Like,
yeah.
Do you guys feel that way?
I really don't think it's a good idea because I mean, do you really want to have a game end up turning up a game that you're so used to paying one fee for and getting some things extra, and end up it turning into, like you said, a Facebook game where you get the game and you're like, oh, this is cool, and then you realize, oh shit, I got to spend all this extra money just to get this thing or this thing or this thing, and it would become very, very ridiculous. And I think that's kind of where we got to wrap up today's episode. Pros, you want to take us out?
If you'd like to read more about Black Ops 3 or any of the games and stories that we talked about today, links and sources are in the description down below. Thank you for watching this episode of the BIOS Update. Be sure to check out next week's episode. Please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button, and we'll see you next time.